Since I started watching films in a serious manner, the term art house cinema or art film has been a bit conflictive to me. I suddenly began seeing the phrase as if it was a genre. To this day, I find it kind of strange that even before watching the movie, some movie theaters and stores describe some works as art films. I wonder what the standards are, because generally the only thing they have in common is they aren't in English. There was a time I saw Gaspar Noé's films in the art film section. I think his movie Irreversible is an exploitative shocker without much to say, of course beyond its technical ambition. But hey, it's in French and told in reverse, so it must be art? For me, a movie is truly artistic when it captures the secret essence of reality. It must arise from a sort of itch that compels the author to express himself, in a reasonable way, through cinematic language. It won't be a surprise to anyone if I said that I find the recent invasion of superhero movies to be tasteless and not artistic at all. You can have a pleasant, exciting time, maybe comparable to a roller coaster, but it doesn't even try to explore themes of emotional depth with which the viewer can be purified. It's clear the true goal of these productions is to make money. For this reason, I cannot consider them as an artistic expression, not even a whole cinematic work, because their essence comes from comic books. This, however, doesn't render them any less valuable as entertainment. What's truly awful is there are films that don't serve any of these two functions. They aren't art nor entertainment. This is maybe the worst sin any movie can commit. Because the aesthetic experience of a piece of art is completely individual, and this is what makes them valuable as art, I think it's absolutely incorrect to use the term art film to call certain movies with apparent common characteristics. It's inevitable, dare I say correct, to draw a line between cinema as art and entertainment, but this is born from personal experience and not just a tag. I think it's a good idea to stop calling art film to all sorts of mumble jumble only because we can't find any other category to include them in. I wouldn't say Empire by Andy Warhol or Blue by Derek Jarman are artistic. To the very least, they are concepts. It's fine if we take into account that experiments or primitive ideas eventually develop into complete ideas, but it would be wrong to say a sketch by Da Vinci serves its function as art. Instead, it is the finished, revised painting that achieves this purpose. Nonetheless, modernity has been each time more tolerant with its definition of art, in such a way that many filmmakers, musicians or painters take their experiments as the finished piece. It's nonsense. Experiments must be a part that's exclusive to the authors, just a point in the process of creation, but not the end of the work. The less evident this process, the more complex and authentic the piece of art. I often find films like Amélie, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Fight Club or Inception under the art film category, and I perfectly understand why. They are all films that slightly deviate from Hollywood conventions and still aren't too alienating. I haven't got a problem with them if we think they can be a transition towards a kind of cinema that's truly authorial, without any commercial compromises. The only thing that makes me uncomfortable is taking them as authentic pieces of art when, from my perspective, they are very flashy, unidimensional films, which are radically opposite characteristics to my conception of art. With this I mean, the fact something is kind of, or even very different from the norm, doesn't mean it must be taken as art. We shouldn't mistake either the ambiguous and pretentious term art film with the most accurate auteur film. Auteur film refers to specific filmic works that show certain characteristics unique to its creator. All directors who are consecrated to their art, especially if they're also the writers of their movies, have a particular way of conceiving time and space. This way, it's possible to recognize elements that are unmistakable with regard to rhythm, composition and themes. I find it very accurate to say Robert Bresson, Stanley Kubrick, Ingmar Bergman, Andrei Tarkovsky or Luis Buñuel made auteur films, because it only takes one shot, just a few seconds long, to recognize their presence in the work. This indicates that an artist is authentic. Their work is inimitable.